drips. The water from the bottle of 5 liters goes down into the mud pot in 2 hours 20 minutes, and from there it drips over 6 hours, and then after that it starts sweating, and therefore the moisture is available for almost 10 to 12 days in the peak of summer around the plant root area.
What happened?
Yeah, there was we miscommunicated, so the camera was not on until a few seconds ago. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
Okay.
So yeah,
Not
if
good
you
to
could
warming up.
start over a bit, but it was fine the way it was. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, but now it's on.
Okay.
But am I okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing it's fine. It was
Yeah,
a
that's
good warm up.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
It was short and a good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, we start again.
This time it is working.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Gopal. Could you explain us who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm K.S. Gopal. I work for an NGO called the Center for Environment Concerns. This is working in the southern part of India in the city of Hyderabad. Its focus is on rural development, especially in rain-fed, drought-prone agricultural areas, which is about half of India. Much of the development in agriculture has been in the irrigated areas, but we focus on the unirrigated areas. Our approach has been to generally go in for innovations, new ideas, new practices, new benchmarks as the road to improve the livelihoods of people. Therefore, we are a small organization, but a critical organization trying to bring out a larger change more through the power of ideas and practice.
Okay. What does SWAR stand for?
SWAR is a system of water for agricultural rejuvenation. I have been working in the development sector for the rain-fed areas for 30 years. Then I realized that what is happening in the world today is that we are reducing our options for the development of the dryland areas, or we are replacing irrigated technologies into dryland areas, or we are going in for drought-proof seeds and varieties. I think that is reducing the options of livelihoods for people or improvement of the enhancement of livelihoods. So SWAR is an ambition where we call it as the system of water for agricultural rejuvenation. We expect that SWAR will be the trigger to bring about a metamorphic change in which we are going to do the improvement of the natural resources and the livelihoods of the people in the semi-arid rain-fed areas.
How does the SWAR work?
The swar is a combination of ancient Indian wisdom, wherein pots were used. Pots have a unique sweating properties, slowly oozing out water. So that was there in India about 200, 300 years ago. And many of the plantations that came up, which are called sacred groves, where specific types of trees were planted and even worshipped, especially Ayurvedic or medicinal plants, that was developed in that way. Now, we looked at that idea and we developed the mud pot in a way that it has the ideal sweating properties in different underground conditions. And then we also combined it with modern materials and sciences, because that is available. Today you have high-class engineering. So you have materials which can help flow of water, etc. So SWAR is a system of triggering water at the root of a plant, which no other technology does, and spread it around in a manner that the roots grow actively and aggressively. And once we are able to do that with trees, we hope that it will have a cascading impact on changing the ecological benefits and the livelihood benefits that people from this area would have.
What makes SWAR so innovative compared to other systems?
Well, for three reasons. One, these are areas with large amount of land available, but very little water available. So SWAR is the highest efficiency in terms of water. There's no comparable model because all of them drip on the surface, whereas we take the water directly down. So we are talking of a much and drastically reduced requirement of water. And SWAR works in all kinds of trees and species. So there's no that it works here, it doesn't work there. It works in all kinds of trees and bushes that can be grown, or perennials that can be grown. So that is the uniqueness of SWAR. That it takes water to the root of a plant, that its focus is on making roots aggressive and active and healthy, And we believe that if the roots are aggressive, active, and healthy, the tree will grow and be able to harness the best food for it to give us the yield and the bounties of nature. The ambition of SWAR is twofold. On one side, we would like to regenerate our forests in a manner that it is biodiverse, it has local species, it has large canopy, it has a lot of leaf dropping, which is what the tropical forests have been. So that's the idea, so that you can harness both livelihoods as well as ecological gains from such a forest. We have the land for it. SWAR is a technology to do that. Also, we have a large number of small farmers in India who have very little land, and it will be good for them to grow fruit-bearing trees, because if they have fruit-bearing trees, it increases their income. Presently, the land is not being much used. They are dependent on rainfall, and rainfall has been behaving very badly. So therefore, they have no other option but to shift for some other source of income, and I think fruit trees can be a very good way. The other benefit of a fruit tree is that if you have a large number of fruit trees in your farmland, the small farmers' asset value goes up. Now that is very important. So what could be, say, $10,000 an acre would suddenly become $40,000, $50,000 an acre. So that's the innovation part of. So basically, water at the roots, strengthening of the roots. So very little requirement of water, and above all, SWAR works without electricity. It is not possible to provide electricity to regenerate forests or in farmlands that are held by the poor people, because it's just not possible. It's not available in countries like India. So therefore, the technology also works without using electricity. So it has all the ingredients that are required for successful farming and creating a process of improving livelihoods and productive natural resource base, so that people are able to harness the best that is possible in the rain-fed areas.
What does SWAR offer apart from drip system?
It is not at all comparable to a drip system, although it is used as a drip system. Drip system is seen as the state of the art. There's no comparison. Drip falls on the surface. This goes down. So it's a totally different thing. It is a totally different paradigm of how we are going to do the farming for the future.
Who are your clients?
Well, as of now, we have restricted the clients because the technology was getting validated, but we have got clients of different types: large landowners, absentee farmers who don't actually be in the land, institutions who have land and want some trees to be grown, but very little water. But the most important segment to which we catered is farmers, because they are actively working on the ground, we get high quality feedback, and that was very important for us. We have done 4,000 trees so far. We have done it in Madhya Pradesh, we've done it in Andhra Pradesh, we've done it in Telangana, we've done it in North Dakota, in order to be able to understand different soils, different frameworks in which buyer behavior are. And now that we have done 4,000 of them, we are now scaling it up. We have set up a company called SWAR Technologies to be able to offer this to improve both our forests and to our dryland areas with tree species.
What has been the impact?
Well, the impact has been very positive. People are recognizing the value, because if it's 3-4 unique things. 1, very, very limited water. 2, no need for electricity. 3, there are no weed growth. Unlike in drip systems where you have a lot of weed growth, there is no weed growth at all here. Right? Yeah. So, and this is an automated system. It gives you all the benefits of a drip irrigation system without electricity. So that's another thing. So the impact has been very positive, very good, and that can be seen by the fact that premier magazines in India which talk about environment and development have featured it in as important article. Televisions, especially in the vernacular, regional languages have done that. I must say we have not really scaled up because we were still trying to perfect the technology. And I think it is only now that we are going to scale it up, not only in India and hopefully in other similar areas such as in Africa.
Thank you. I think the other, okay, maybe there's also a good question still. what are the type of fruit trees that swar can be used for?
Well, you can grow any type of fruit trees, any type of trees. As of now, we have done about 20 types of trees. But generally, we would like to go for trees that require lesser water because already there is a water shortage. So it's the dryland areas species, what is called as dryland horticulture species, which includes mango, guava, pomegranate, all of that can be done. And in the forests, you can have medicinal plants as well as high quality timber plants, whether it be sandalwood or whether it be teak, all that is possible. All that has been done. So the thing is that our technology is sort of not based on which tree it is requiring. What you require for that particular tree is the kind of nutrient management, right? But as far as water is concerned, and water in our case is used not as water but as moisture, we are the best in that system, and we are changing the game.
How much water is required to irrigate 1 acre?
Well, it depends on the number of trees that you have. In India, on an average, about 80 trees are done per acre. How much water do you require? We found that 5 liters of water per irrigation is enough for a tree. Now, the per irrigation requirement, how frequently you irrigate, depends on 4 factors. What is the type of the soil? What is the age of the tree? What is the heat outside? Okay, so based on that, you have to calculate. But roughly, I would say that a plant from young to maturity would require about 500 to 600 liters of water per year. That's the water quantum we are talking. So much less. 5 to 600 liters is an average urban water consumption. So if out of your 365 days, your 1 day of water is enough for me for 1 tree. So if you did not take water for 1 year, I can tell you 365 trees can come up. That's the numbers.
What actions need to be done manually to water irrigate with swar?
Well, if you look at the trajectory of our learning, we came into this technology with an ambition of taking water directly because we found that women were carrying headloads of water and they would flood the water. And in summer, which is the peak period for plants in terms of water, otherwise they'll die, they had to walk longer distances or pump more. So that's the basis on which. In swar, there is no labor work at all. You have to only do 2 things. You have to see that the overhead tank is filled up with water, and then you'll have to open the pipes. And you'll have to check that water is flowing through the system. And you do it once in a month, that's good enough. Because there's no weed, there's nothing, no dependence on electricity, the rest of the system works. Having said that, while this is providing moisture, it is equally important for the farmer to spend some time to provide the nutrients that are required for the plant, because each of them will vary according to the species of the soil. So that would require maybe some time. But there is no manual labor in that sense. It is similar or better than drip in comparison in terms of the time that is spent.
Is there a lot of strength needed for swar?
There is no strength needed at all. There's no strength needed at all. You just have to open a tap. If you think opening a tap needs strength, well, that's it.
What advantages do the swar tools have as compared to conventional tools?
Now, I think swar developed some work tools with a different mindset. The idea was this, that India, like in anywhere else, the largest workforce is women in agriculture. But women do not use tools. It's only men who use tools, right? And if it is a machinery like a tractor, I don't think anywhere you will find women driving tractors. It's only men driving tractors. If you have a combined harvest, it will be driven by men. Okay, so our idea was that we should reduce the drudgery of women. We should reduce the operational injuries that they have, right? And the third idea was that we must increase their productivity, because that is the only way they're going to gain respect in the markets. So we developed swar, for example, is a system where the women just don't have to bother much. They just have to open the tap and they have to see how the water is going, etc. So that it's very women friendly in that sense of the word. We developed two other tools. One is a crowbar and the other is a scythe, right? Scythe was developed because women do cutting, and cutting requires cutting of weeds which they hold by hand, and it leads to a lot of problems for them, right? Skin diseases, rashes, etc. Where in the scythe, and you have to sit down, here you don't. You just stand up and you sort of keep on cleaning it. It also increases the productivity by 4 to 5 times. We did that with a crowbar, which is used for digging. And there we found that in the crowbar, women, when they were digging, the bottom would get blunt, and the tip, because it gets blunt, you require even more and more effort. If you were to sharpen it, no local sharpeners are available because there are no ironsmiths in the village any longer. You have to take it to town. So they avoid doing that. So work hard and hard with a blunted tool. So what we did is we combined at the bottom of the 6 inches a high particular metal which does not have any of these problems. We clad the two of them, so therefore you have a crowbar. And it was also ergonomically designed in such a way that the impact and the thrust are maximized. So if the thrust is what the women are providing, the impact will be much, much larger than what you were getting earlier. So these are little tools that we have developed to help women improve their productivity and their status and reduce their drudgery.
Are these products already on the market? And I mean, are there many products of this like this on the market?
No, there are no other products. Okay. You see, nobody has come up with. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done this. If they were ready-made products, we wouldn't have done it. And now, as far as marketing is concerned, we haven't aggressively marketed them, right? But now that Swar as a company has been established and that the tools are all working, I find a very good response from organic farmers for the tools that we have developed. It could be men also. It's fine with me. So I find that the market is there. It is just that we have to go to the market. But before we go to the market, I want to be very sure that our product has all the requirements to be a first-class product. Generally, what happens is if it's a poor people, we think a poor product is good enough. I mean, the guy has nothing, let him manage. No, we don't believe that. We believe that the poor are also customers and they must have the best of the product.
Do we think that these tools will be usable for aged and disabled people?
Well, I think it's not usable by the aged and disabled people. It was targeted for women who are already working as workers. It cannot be used by disabled people. We have to find other ways in which the disabled people can be helped, right? Other types of work. The work itself does not lend itself for anything. So we have to look for what is it that the disabled can do and provide those tools. These tools cannot go for them. So is it with the old aged. It is very difficult for them to do anything. And they cannot work like a worker hours together. They can work for 10 minutes and relax for 20 minutes. So I think these are not tools meant for them. And I don't think they should also be working. They should be used productively based on what they can deliver. And I think that's a way to solve their problem and to build a better society.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah.